And today we have a great panel here for you. We have Keith Raskin, who produces Briar Patch, which has Rosario Dawson as a badass investigator who comes to the border town, Texas border town, to find out who killed her police detective sister, and she uncovers all kinds of corruption. We also have several actors who've learned to call Albuquerque a second home as they brought to life the Breaking Bad spinoff Better Call Saul, and also Breaking Bad itself. Now, Ray Seaborn plays Kim Wexler, an attorney of love interest of Bob Odenkirk's Jimmy Saul character. She also usually has a ponytail that has taken on a life of its own, but she left it home. We have Patrick Fabian, who plays attorney Howard Hamlin, who basically torments Jimmy McGill. And we have R.J. Mitty, who was nominated for 3 SAG Awards for playing Walter White Jr., son of the meth master, played by Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad. And R.J. won the SAG Award in 2013. And then we have Calum Worthy, who most recently acted down here in The Act and basically played a hapless pizza shop employee who murdered the abusive mother of his girlfriend in a case that was based on a real incident. So please welcome them. Now, I'm going to ask the first question, and then I'll turn it over to Anthony, who it turns out is a Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul groupie, basically. So my question is, it seems based on the introduction that New Mexico is a great place to come to do really horrible things to people. But my question is, this is kind of a nomadic business, as we know. Can you guys, what does it mean to each of you when a state like New Mexico leans in the way it has and tries to implement some permanence and roots that can mean a long stay with the series that you guys all have done?
Ladies first.
You know, I'll talk over Ray, because I always do. Thank you for being here, for starters. I got the job of my life in Better Call Saul a couple of years back, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. And they said, it shoots in Albuquerque. And I was like, I'm a beach guy. I like the surf, right? And who wants to go to Albuquerque was sort of the thought in my brain. And instead I got here, and what's happened is I've fallen in love with the place, without a doubt. Not only is production fun, not only is the crew professional, but they've already talked about how beautiful it is. It is beautiful. And when I'm here, I just went hiking yesterday. I went up Sandia, up the La Luz Trail, right, the big mountain right there, and it's gorgeous. So when you're working here, it's a great place to go ahead and get out of yourself as well and have a great sort of life and existence when you're working as well. Because as we all know, work is hard, 12-hour days, it's all crazy. But when you get a chance to go ahead and breathe and exhale, New Mexico is like the best place to do it.
You got 12-hour days?
Yeah, I was like, what 12-hour day did you do? We do 15 to 17.
You owe the law firm, you know what I'm saying?
He does, and he is telling the truth, by the way. He bought a house here, as did Bob and Naomi, and many members of our crew. I love working in New Mexico, and I have shot out of town other things, and the reception here is quite different than shooting in a lot of cities like New York, where they're really mad that you're there. But here, the locals are amazing. All the businesses, our crew is amazing, and they're largely Albuquerque and New Mexico natives from other areas in New Mexico. And they spoke about the commute earlier. It's true. Having this commute that's never that tough, it does matter when you're moving full sets and full crews, doing company moves, actors with turnaround calls, needing to get enough sleep. Like, that stuff matters. And then additionally, we have the pleasure of shooting a show that is shooting New Mexico, shooting Albuquerque for Albuquerque. It is fascinating how many places this city can double for. It's kind of amazing. But I do love that in the show, I am actually doing my character's commute to a law office. We do tons of locations. The law office she goes to, HHM office, those were real working office buildings. The hospital they went to was real. My condo, the exterior is behind us. It's in the Prism parking lot over there. And you get to see the town, and you get to see the people, and you go to the diners that you then are shooting in, and living that experience and being completely immersed here in work and in your time off. I think greatly enriches my performance and my ability to be away from home for 5.5 months at a time and keep my head straight, because it very much feels like a second home here.
Now, are the three of you treated like royalty when you're like, if you go to the mall or whatever? RJ, how about you?
Yeah, it's Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul didn't just pioneer the industry, but really created such a special place in the community of filming locations and being immersed in the location. And ditto to both of these people that literally, when you're able to work on a set and you're able to live on the location, and it becomes its own character, it becomes its own entity, and the people as well, the people that own the businesses, the people that are watching your set, the neighbors, the people. Occasionally we get the fire department called. You all still have that? We did. But it's special, and people respect Vince Gilligan. They respect what he created, not just Vince, but the whole writing team, the crew itself that's here. We all loved what we did with the show, and anytime we go anyplace, I went to Frontier the other day, and the guy, if you haven't been to Frontier, it's a New Mexican staple here. There's now a bunch of them, but the dude goes, "Yo, you, what? You're not." It's like, and I look a little different, and I walk, but but it's something that when you work here and you are known here, people support you here, and people hold you up to the highest regard. And it's just an honor to be able to have that community that's so behind you in everything that you do. And even after I left, Breaking Bad ended and Better Call Saul started, I went back to Los Angeles. I started working more abroad in different areas, and New Mexico and Albuquerque is unrivaled when it comes to spirit, support, and just the community. I've worked in many places, but this is one of the most unique places in the world when it comes to environment and atmosphere. So,
I have an open question for all of you. Which is the bigger influence when it comes to Albuquerque? Is Albuquerque, the city, more of an influence on your work, or is your work more of an influence on the city? In your show, animals escape from the zoo in the first pilot, and then in Better Call Saul, when I landed at the airport, there's the Saul Goodman inspired billboard: "Get hurt, call Bird."
I think one informs the other. It's almost the same. Just also to touch briefly on what you said about production here. One thing was amazing. We did like 2 to 3 company moves a day, which in Los Angeles would not. You couldn't even do one. It would just, and our commute was maybe 10 to 15 minutes on any given day. So it was amazing to be able to come here and work and try to do something that was a little bit out of the box and extraordinary. We would do so many locations that we would be able to stretch and do a lot more here. And the people of Albuquerque also make such a huge difference. We were shooting on location at a residence, and some neighbor came running up, and she's like, "Where's the producers? Where's the producers?" And I'm like, "Oh God, here it, you know." And she ran up, she said, "I just want to say thank you for being here. We're so happy you're here. We really appreciate the business. This is amazing. This is where we need to keep coming back to." I don't think that's ever happened in my 25 years producing in Los Angeles, for sure. Yeah.
As someone who lives in New York, I know for a fact it's never happened there.
Yeah, no, I've shot in New York, and no. I get some different language than that in New York. Yeah.
Usually it's somebody with an air horn who has to be paid to put it away. Yeah. Now, Caleb, so you're from Canada.
Yes.
So give us a sense of what it meant to you to come down here to shoot.
I loved it. One of the films I did here was called Corporate Animals, and we filmed in a cave, and a lot of it was on location. That really informed the performances because we're able to actually walk around real caves, and we're actually able to feel and touch what the characters would actually feel. It really informed how we performed, and it also informed the script as well. We were able to make adjustments to make sure it fit the location because we loved it so much. I loved working here. The crews were fantastic. The cast was unbelievable, and the local actors we had from New Mexico were unbelievable. I would work with them on anything. Yeah, they're really great. And repeating what they said, the crews are so great. The local crews here in New Mexico are some of the best crews I've ever worked with. And on, with hours meaning everything, and it being tight budgets, a good crew can make a project great. And that's what we had in our experience.
Well, now, I just said I'm a New Yorker. So for instance, I'm also a Knicks fan. And players basically tell other players, don't go play for the Knicks. That's why we suck. And it's one thing for the state bureaucrats to go out there and kind of try to sell these financial incentives, but it's quite another thing when actors and producers talk to their peers and talk about the possibility of maybe locating series here. You guys recommend this to people in LA, and do you find that your experience is better than the ones they're having in other places around the country?
Yes. To all of it.
Yes. When I've had friends, if you have the incredible luxury of looking at more than one project and deciding what to do, and you have the choice of, and you have to leave home, I tell them take the Albuquerque one, for sure.
Wow.
It's miles and leagues different in so many different positive ways for me.
Yeah, no, as a producer, it when I walk in and start having the discussions about a particular show, it's usually, okay, these are the places we're looking at. We're looking at Vancouver, Atlanta, and I always say, I hope Albuquerque is on your list. It's critical that it should be, and you should be looking at. I would take Albuquerque over any of the places. The crew here is amazing. In Vancouver and Atlanta, the depth of crew disappears. There's loyalty here for your crew. They want to stay on your show. In Vancouver, every 2 weeks you lose half your team because they've now jumped onto a better show that's going to go longer and that's going to pay a little bit more. And so but here people care about their shows and they want to stay on them, and they're here to work with. Really been a
Yeah, there's a real sense of pride from the crews here too, that not only are they top tier excelling at their skill set and are now wanted in other cities, but when they're doing a show here, I do feel from them a sense of pride in their city and their film industry here, and they've gone past any need to prove themselves as just as good, and now I just feel like they're ennobled by it to say, like, yeah, we are that good and we will support your storytelling. And they're also, I found that our crew is they're very interested in the actual storytelling. There are so many crews that are kind of like just doing their hours, and even if they're good at their job, they're kind of like just clocking in. And don't you feel like you get questions from props and grips and lights where you're like, oh, you're watching the scene. Oh, you're reading the script. They're invested in it. They're invested in the locations. They're invested in, like I said, the storytelling. And we're invested in being here. Like I said, many of us bought houses, and also some people don't realize that part of the tax incentives is that after the pilot, you are here as a local hire. I pay New Mexico taxes. I'm not given per diems. I am not given a place to live. I'm not given food, a car, any of that. I perform as a local here. And I'm proud to do that. I'm proud that I'm giving back into the system in order to shoot here.
So we're running out of time, but can we put you guys down as committing to another season of Better Call Saul, or what?
I wish I was allowed to make that decision, but
Can we make that decision? Yes.
Vince and Peter did say it will be the 6th and sadly final season next. Yes.
But Howard and Kim get married, so it's great. I didn't say that. Vince, if you're watching, I didn't say anything.
I know nothing. I'm just along for the ride. Hi, guys.
Well, it was the same on Breaking Bad. We only know the script we have in front of us.
No,
ever.
yeah.
That's it. You have no idea the
And
very
just
next
so y'all
script.
know, the crew that they have on Better Call Saul is a lot of the same crew on Breaking Bad. And when they say the passion that they had for the script and everything, that's something that you don't see in Los Angeles and New York. You get crews that go, cool, trash. Yeah. It happens. It's true. People get oversaturated, and here there's still a spark.
Well, I want to thank our panelists, and thanks for listening, and they seem all pretty happy. They'll tell me the real story backstage, of course.
Thanks.